Hello, I'm Daisha and welcome back to my channel. So I run a small business out of my little studio in my house, and it's all about cozy bookish reader things, and I am a reader, so it's honestly such a dream job to be able to start turning my hobby into a profession. And I wanted to record this video today because I recently hit 400 sales on my Etsy shop, and I'm super proud of that. I've worked really hard, and it's just so cool to see all of the things come together and being able to manifest what I wanted it to look like and watching it grow. So I wanted to take you along with me on, I want to say it's like a week in the life as I worked on getting orders ready that sold during Black Friday. So during this, I have several different things going on, but I wanted to talk to you just more about what the day in the life looks like, especially as someone with a 9 to 5. If you don't know, I feel like I say this all the time, so I'm so sorry if you've heard this before, but I am a teacher. So my days are very busy. My days start early, usually around 4:30, depending on the day of the week. I either go to the gym and then go to work, or some days on Mondays I usually wake up, work in here until I leave the house around 7ish, and then I'm at school until usually around 4, and then I come back in here and work maybe from 4 to around 6 or 7, depending on what I have to do. And with all that going on, I still want to have time to be able to relax and do the hobbies that I enjoy and spend time with my husband. So it is very hard to balance all of that, and that's something that I probably didn't realize would be so hard when I got started. Last year, even before I got started in the shop, I started my shop in April, but I read around 150 books last year, and each month I usually average around 10 to 12. April was the first month that I started my shop, as I just said, and I read like 4 books. And so I just didn't realize that even though this is a reading hobby, like shop, my reading was going to take a back seat. And I've just been working really hard on trying to balance the things. So come along with me as I just talk more about content creation, Etsy orders, designing, printing, all of those things. So long before I ever had the dream of opening an Etsy shop and making this a side hustle, I have been creating bookish content on Instagram for about 3 years now. And in this journey, I've just shared reviews, book hauls, my annotation process, me showing me designing like the beginnings of books, just sharing all of the things that I love to do to my books. And the love for the shop kind of came from there, because people would say like, oh, I wish I could annotate. I wish, there was something I could buy, or even wanted to just go ahead and buy my books that are already annotated, which is a big part of my shop. And you're going to see me annotating. I think it's forthcoming a little bit in this video. So when I started making my shop, obviously I'm still trying to create content that's just the normal things that I've already done, right? So keep posting reviews, keep showing my annotation process. But I've also had to integrate kind of the business side into that and not make it cringe, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want my page to just become overly salesy, but also social media is a great way to drive traffic to your shop. So just finding the balance with that. I think I actually do product photos at the end of this video. But it has been a challenge because you don't want people to feel like you're always just selling to them, but that's the way you make money. So just finding organic ways to meld the two together. So typically, like recently I posted about holiday reads that I loved in the past years. And in those photos of the books, I included some Christmassy designs that I made in the photos to just kind of pique some interest. And then when I shared those posts to my stories, I also put the link like, hey, if you like these stickers and bookmarks, they are available on my Etsy shop. And that way it's just kind of organic instead of it in your face. Hi, buy this. Hi, buy that. And then also like me just showing the process of me annotating also kind of gets some interest going. So it's been hard balancing the content creation because honestly, my number one priority is packing orders. Like if somebody buys from me, then me making sure that I give them a top quality product as fast as possible is going to be my priority because they paid for it. whereas content creation is like second or, even third to that. So sometimes I'm just like filming me packing orders. I've started posting more on YouTube and on, honestly, my personal Facebook of me, like day in the life, little mini vlogs to just show people the behind the scenes of what it looks like for me. So that's still just a learning process for me, is just being able to balance that time with also still have a 9 to 5, because I don't have that luxury that some people have to be able to stay at home, and create all day. I think that would honestly be amazing. But that's not where I'm at. So just using the time that I have correctly. So when it comes to Etsy orders, the thing that takes the most time for me is annotated books. However, I do love doing them, and they are very good for profit margins for me. So I don't see me stopping. However, they can be very time consuming, especially in this video. I would have just finished the last one. I did 2 really long books, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, which is a duology, and it's very long. I have a lot of thoughts and notes. It's actually one of my favorite series, so I have a lot to say. And then in this one, I had to pick up right after and do Fourth Wing. And those 3 books are probably the ones that take the longest in my entire shop to annotate. So just making sure I made time for those before they had to go out, and making sure they go out in a timely manner, because I don't want anything to ship late, especially around the holidays. I want to make sure everybody gets their things in the time that I said that they would. So a lot of things, especially if I can get help with, my husband's really great with helping me on things that he can. So just trying to outsource anywhere I can. But of course, annotated books, he is not able to help me on. But for instance, like cutting bookmarks, rounding the corners, putting the tassel on, those are things that he can do. And that does help be able to get things out. And then even in this video, this was really strange. I didn't think I would sell any more summer bookmarks because it's winter basically. And somebody bought my berry summer bookmark, and I didn't have any of those printed because I print such a small quantity. So that way I'm not wasting, paper in case it doesn't sell. And that was the only one of that collection that I didn't have printed. So I printed that. So some things it might take me a little bit longer just because I'm trying to save, supplies, time, money. So it's kind of just figuring out what is worth it for you. A process that I love to do but don't have as much time to do is designing. So luckily I did pretty well about designing the Christmas collection in time to have it listed for fall. My big sellers in my shop are the annotated books and annotation kits. So I feel like I spent a lot of time designing the Christmas collection, like the stickers, the bookmarks, the annotation kits, but they're not the biggest sellers. And I'm wondering if it's worth my time. However, it was nice because I took the same designs that I drew for those collections and I changed them into digital downloads that were just coloring pages, like coloring bookmarks. And I also made a freebie with that. So maybe it was worth my time because the freebie has converted well. So I guess I'll talk about that for a second. And I might show another video in case you're curious. So I've been told one of the best things that you can do for your small business is to create an email list. So my Etsy shop could get shut down tomorrow and I would lose all those contacts, anybody that's, ever bought from me before. And same with Instagram, something could happen and I wouldn't have it anymore. But if you have emails, you would still be able to reach out to those people that you had contact with. The problem is you got to get people to sign up for the emails. So finding incentives for people to want to sign up. So I've been doing like special coupon codes for the people that sign up through the email. And then also just digital downloads. So the first one I used was an annotation guide because a lot of people wonder, why annotate? What do I do? What does the process look like? So that was my first one, and that got quite a few email signups. That one's worked really well. The most recent one I did was 8 coloring bookmarks for Christmas. So I've kind of marketed it as like, take these for your book club, do this as a cozy hobby at home, send these to your book best friend, stuff like that. And basically all they have to do is put in their email, and then I send them the 8 bookmarks. So I use the same designs that I drew for Christmas for that, and I do think that has been fruitful. So maybe my drawing and the time I spent on the collection wasn't in vain, even though the collection hasn't converted as well as I would have hoped. All right, so here you see me taking a stretch break because sitting here has definitely been a struggle. I did when I made this room. It used to be a guest bedroom, but we didn't really use it, so I converted it to an office. And I bought a chair and just some new things, but I still get so restless sitting here. So I didn't buy a new desk. This is what I've had, but I honestly would not mind a standing desk because it just gets so old, like sitting, and especially like trying to make sure my posture is good because when I'm annotating like a book for the shop, I notice like I'm leaning forward and like hunching over, and I'm trying to break that. But it's hard when you're trying to write. So that's been one thing, getting used to one, sitting like that a lot, and then two, staring at a screen. In my job as a teacher, I don't really stare at screens that often. Like, obviously, I have to look at computers to like pull up lessons and like lesson plan some, but it's not as intense as this journey has been. Like, currently, as I'm videoing this, I have my iPad, my phone, and my MacBook open. And I've noticed a toll it's taken on my eyes. So even after I'm done working for the day, my favorite way to read used to be on Kindle Unlimited. So I'd use my iPad or even my phone. But now I've been gravitating more to physical paperbacks because I'm not having to look at a screen anymore. So that's been something that I've had to get used to as well, because that's not what it would typically look like. So another process I wanted to talk about is me printing and cutting, especially bookmarks. So I've been using Canva to format the bookmarks. You might have seen that before because I have talked about like the process and like what I do. And I finally figured out a process that works for me, that's pretty foolproof, that it usually lines up front and back, and I don't have issues for the most part. There are still some circumstances when I'm like, why did this happen? However, it's been very fruitful, like in the trajectory of that I don't mess up as often as I used to anymore. And that has been nice. It would be even better if I could get it to work on my silhouette. That way I wouldn't have to worry about cutting. However, I've had trouble trying to figure out how to correctly line up printing the front and the back if I use my silhouette. And honestly, hand cutting might be faster in terms of me having to like put the mat down, put it in, have the software cut it. Also, if you don't use like a Cricut or a Silhouette or anything, you use like registration marks to make sure the page is lined up so the machine knows exactly where to cut. And when I have the registration marks on, I would only be able to put 3 bookmarks on one page instead of 4. So I would be sacrificing room, like wasting material, to be able to cut faster and less work on me. So for now, I do not mind just hand cutting, and that includes like cutting around the corners with this little tool. If it needs a tassel, I'll hole punch it, and I don't know, it's working for now, so we'll see. However, I did just do a bulk order. I'm actually still working on it. That's in front of me as well, and it was a lot of cutting. So one day I might try to see something different, but for now, that still works. I think for the season that I'm in with my business, especially like as the holidays, come up, I'm just assessing how it's going and thinking of things that I want to do differently next year and where I want to go from here. So recently I set up a domain name so that way I'm able to make a website soon if I would like to do that. And that's something that my husband and I have discussed, because I do like Etsy. It's been really great for driving your own, for it to drive the traffic to you. It's very seamless. I feel like on the technology end, it has been very easy. However, I do know that I could be making more profit if I wasn't selling on there because of the fees. So that might be one thing I'm trying to do in the new year, is to transition to having my own site. That way I don't have to deal with that sort of thing. I thought about recruiting some like brand ambassadors on Instagram, just some people that I can send some products to for them to be able to post about on their Instagram, and then giving them like a commission code that their followers can use to check out. And I just think that would be a cool way to reach, different people that may not already follow me. I'm trying to brainstorm on that because I'm trying to figure out fair ways to pick people, because obviously you want to pick people that are happy, wanting to show your brand in a positive light and enjoy your products. But you also want to be able to pick people that are, have a good personality, and then people are going to also see the content. So that is something else that I'm thinking through, like what I want that to look like. And then also just thinking through what new products I want to launch next year, what I want it to look like. This coming up year, this will be my first Valentine's Day as my shop, being open. So just thinking, what products do I want to make or try to make for Valentine's Day? And I think having a business is a lot of like reflecting, kind of figuring out what you want to do, pivoting when something's not working, grasping on when something is. So like, for instance, I started out with 4 annotation kits. They really, truly popped off. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I added, I think the core, at first I had romance. I don't know. I'm watching myself dance on the camera right now. I started off with romance, dark romance, I think general, maybe fantasy, and maybe one other one. And then I quickly added thriller and horror because I could tell that was something that people were interested in. And then it grew. I added a romantasy. I added like a self-care. I feel like I have something else. So just being able to adapt and seeing what things look like. So I feel like I'm in an era of like growth, acceptance, adaptability, just reflecting and seeing what I can do and how I can continue to be successful. And I feel like my husband is very excited for this journey too, because when I first started, it's not that he wasn't supportive, but I don't think that in his mind he thought it could be successful the way that it is, because in his mind he's like, who would spend this much money on an annotated book? And I think watching him also see that process has made him more invested in the process. So I'm excited to see like what that looks like for the both of us in the new year. So especially when I get out for Christmas break, when I have time, when I'm not having to, chase 6 and 7 year olds around, being able to really sketch out what I want the year to look like. And also this next coming up year, I want to do better about planning out collections, because fall I was definitely, I think, behind. Christmas I was just kind of stressed about getting the designs out in time, and then also the ornament thing. If you didn't watch that video, I was trying to post about Christmas ornaments, but the problem was one of the shipments got lost from Amazon, so I was waiting on it, and then another shipment came in, but a lot of the ornaments were too small for what I was trying to do. So then I really couldn't post about those in the time that I wanted to. Luckily, the ornaments have sold pretty well. They've done better than the collection I designed. So at least it turned out okay, but that was a learning process too. And I feel like if I had started earlier, I would have been able to learn the hard lessons before then, because I did have a customer ask for a refund because she was not happy with how the books were cut. And when I reflected, because she sent pictures too, I didn't ask for them, but she sent them. And when I reflected, I was like, that was probably one of the first ornaments I made. And I feel like I got better at the process as I went. And if I was paying it more attention when I shipped out her order, I would not have sent that one, because the quality isn't the same as the ones that I've been making recently. So just being able to have those hard conversations with myself, and being able to admit when I did something wrong, and then just making it right. So just things like that, being able to have more time to plan out a collection instead of just trying to bang something out very fast. So right after Christmas, I'm going to pivot and go ahead and start thinking more about Valentine's Day. Definitely plan up like Galentine's Day. And I also want to do more work with book clubs, because I'm in 2 different book clubs. and I've posted on Instagram about them, and that content does pretty well. So I think, kind of playing up that in the new year would be cool too. So I feel like if I had known more about how to prepare for a holiday launch, it would have saved me so much stress, because there's a lot that goes into that, and it's not about, like waiting to the last minute to be able to get something done. It's one of those things, especially if you're trying to sell online, you want to give customers plenty of time to be able to buy your product. And like with an ornament, you want to be able to put it on your tree way before Christmas. So yeah, I just think there's been a lot of things to learn in this year, and I'm just thankful for all of it, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't know, I just never thought this would be my life as an entrepreneur, so I'm so grateful. So during this portion, I was just packing up some orders as my silhouette was cutting, and what I was cutting out are the QR codes that went on my thank you card, and that QR code leads straight to my Instagram, just so people can follow me and check out what I have going on outside of just buying from me. And I think this has been cool because it's started building a community through people that just found me through Etsy. Like, I had a woman comment the other day, and she commented on several posts, and one of the things she said was just how high quality the product that she got from me, I think it was an annotation kit, and how much she enjoyed it. And that was really cool to see how somebody from Etsy came over to Instagram because of my products. So luckily I did start printing my thank you card, so it's already on there, the QR code, but I did have some extra thank you cards that are blank but I've already wrote on the front, so I needed more of the QR code sticker. So that's just a cool branding moment. And then of course, my brand colors, I'm sure you can pick up on, I love pink, so I just use a lot of pink, and it's kind of my signature thing. So here I'm just getting ready for some product photos. This light, I don't even know what it's called, but it's amazing. My husband got it for me for Christmas last year. And what I'm doing is, if you shine the light directly on the photos, if you don't know about photo taking, it's going to create a glare, the harsh light. But I have pretty light walls and bright ceilings, so I'm shining it on the ceiling, and the light is bouncing back, and it lights up the photo just in pretty much the perfect amount. It's even better when I'm on the table, but this one with the tree and kind of making the glowy effect through the photo, it worked out perfectly fine. But yeah, just investing in some things that will be beneficial for you. So for me, the thing that I was always complaining about, especially last year, was that I had very little time to film, because when I wake up before I go to work, there was no light, especially in the wintertime. And then when I get home, it's already dark. So I have no time to film except for on the weekends. So this was my husband's solution for me to be able to still film. And then as I moved into becoming a business owner, this helped me be able to take product photos and do things even outside of the natural daylight time. But I hope you enjoyed just kind of having a cozy work with me kind of vibe. I hope these videos find other small business owners, because there are so many people that I enjoy watching while I'm working. So I hope this was that for you. If you're not already, please subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.